Love was radically changed by the 1984 Betamax case, and so was its urbanism. That year, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of Sony Corporation that VCR users had the right to make copies of complete TV shows as a way to achieve a new media experience, television time shifting. In 4 years, the percentage of U.S. homes equipped with VCRs rose from 19 to 88%, as revenues from film studios drastically shrank. VCRs allowed many people to stay at home instead of going to the movies. Something was already happening to the architecture of homes. In 1969, the Monroe, Michigan-based company La-Z-Boy patented the first upholstered reclining chair. Promoting the predominance of latex-made rubber foam in domestic furniture, the company, in a single year, absorbed many of its competitors in the U.S. furniture market by massively rendering domestic interiors upholstered. Its sales grew from $150 million in 1981 to $500 million by 1983. A year later, General Mills developed the first mass-produced microwave popcorn with butter flavoring, which shifted the $53 million home popcorn market of 1983 into a $250 million market 10 months later. VCRs and couches came with fat. In 1985, Tom and James Monaghan's Domino's Pizza opened franchises in Japan and the UK in a transoceanic expansion that 10 years later brought their mouth-watering meals to 5 continents. The transnational retreat of the social to fat-retaining homes, synchronized with the transnational HIV crisis, resulted in the disappearance from cities of spaces where love was staged and negotiated, a regime that established the fear of fatless bodies. The architectural socialization of movies left theaters to circulate within the connected but isolated, sweet, homey couches of the living room, where hypercaloric food was delivered. Whereas Ouija's photographs exposed the bodily experience of love as something happening in the collective spaces shaped by projection beams, in the VCR era, love was surrogated to a distributed architectural network of foam rubber fluffiness, time shifting, and fat gaining. Since the 1920s, most condoms have been made of latex. So too is foam rubber, whose air-filled matrix is made of latex and is the same material used in furniture upholstery. Architecture brought prophylactics and comfort together. If latex condoms were used to introduce a clinical regime of sexual vigilance, it was also latex, air-filled latex, that isolated homes in their access to fictional media and body-transforming fat. The use of the two latex byproducts, condom and upholstery, grew exponentially at a time when the architecture of love was spatially becoming an air-filled matrix. Not an urban evolution, because it transited from urban to rural and suburban, but a transurban evolution, by which the greatly rhetorical architecture of big spaces for social summing evolved into a prophylactic, networked architecture made out of something different from construction. It was the creation of a network of homes, territorially dispersed, working as an air-filling strategy through which a different form of love was enacted. Facing the big studio's massive firing, desperately intended to reduce their profit drain, unemployed technicians and the independent companies depending on the film industry found a fresh place to work in the San Fernando Valley. In 1984, the first non-professional camcorders, JVC GRC1 and Sony Betamovie 100P, rapidly propelled the industry of adult video films. Director Harold Freeman, accused of pandering, won the appeal to the California Supreme Court in what was in fact the legal recognition of adult filming in California as a practice detached from prostitution. The then depreciated real estate market of suburban San Fernando Valley made it possible to deploy a mirrored transurbanism, a film industry that, rather than occupying monumental architectural compounds like Universal and Disney Studios did, could be enacted through the architecture of a constellation of interconnected small warehouses and reappropriated dwellings. In a mix of subversion and service to the 1980s latex prophylactic reurbanization of love, San Fernando became a non-latexed community, living collective forms of non-latexed love. It was the milieu to which the air-filled transurbia surrogated its risk. In 1998, a former adult film actress, Sharon Mitchell, founded the Adult Industry Medical Healthcare Foundation, an organization that tested monthly an average of more than 1,000 actors working in San Fernando, as a means to keep industry workers safe from HIV, chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis. Latex prophylactics were both responded and served by a trust-based lovemaking community. Monthly tests and strict protocols produced a database that comprehensively accounted for 13 years of intercourse within the adult entertainment industry. An invisible reality, only visible through fictional sexualized video-recorded scenes, developed to collectively manage a surrogated risk, had been constructed. Not a single case of HIV contagion was reported for more than 4 years. Community-making and laboratorized bodies were simultaneously forms of counter-latex resistance and allies in the making of the air-filling society. Politics were contained in a mirrored risk-zoning society.